just the term deprogram.
Yes,
That that's the right word.
it
I mean,
is.
that's the right word. It's so weird because we're seeing more and more of how programming can change behavior. It literally
Yeah.
just change everything. And I think we're seeing this as we're, and unfortunately it's just in the current way that people are handling politics and this and that, is that there's a series of things that are happening in the press and the media and everywhere else, and it builds a program in our brain that's not always, sometimes rational, sometimes not,
Right.
and we start making decisions based on that programming
Yes.
that is more often than not in our best interest.
Definitely in this case, not in
Yes.
our best
And that's what I'm saying.
interest.
With diet culture, it is literally it completely bypasses all, I'm not going to say sanity per se, but it puts you in a frame of mind where you're bypassing the most important fact
Hmm.
that you should be trying to live being healthy.
Hmm.
And none of diet culture really ever addresses that. Now they use it in marketing,
Of
green
course.
label, this is healthy, and all of that. But beyond all that, that's just to define food. They're like, we got to define
Yes.
food because if we don't define food, you won't know what to eat and what not to eat. And as a company that makes food, I want you to think mine's healthier than theirs. So I got to put it on the label. And
Yes.
so it's all these things. I'm like, okay. And we think we can change our behavior without changing our mind. Okay.
Well, you can try, but it's very, very hard if you don't change your mind first. And I think it's really important to completely define diet culture because I think you're right. It's something that sits in the background in our subconscious, also brought to our conscious awareness. But I don't think people realize that it actually is a culture and it's based off of two very distinct and negative biases. And the first one is lookism, or the unhealthy pursuit of the thin ideal. And you see this everywhere in celebrity culture. You see it in advertising. You see it on every television show or movie. You see this in magazines. This very um, thin or very emaciated ideal, or super buff muscular ideal for the men. And it's the promotion of this bias inherently makes us feel like we're not good enough and we need to strive toward this ideal. Then you also have weightism, or essentially fat shaming and fat phobia, as the other bias that's driving diet culture. And that basically is just our fear of how we might be treated if we're overweight or obese. And it is an actual true fact that people are generally treated more poorly if they're considered overweight or obese. And so these two biases drive multi-million dollar enterprises that are essentially designed to prey on these insecurities and take our money. And when you really look at it, especially when it comes to dieting itself, the actual act of dieting is futile. And I think when people really open their eyes to the fact that it does not lead to lasting weight gain. In fact, more often than not, leads to weight gain, then people can really start to be aware and make conscious decisions that actually do work for their health as opposed to work against their health.